Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, so, you know what? We need people to start liking our social media pages.
As far as YouTube is concerned, we would like you to like it and subscribe to our podcast.
Yes, you know how you can find our YouTube page?
How?
You go to YouTube and just type in TechTime Radio.
That's it?
That's it. That's that simple.
Like, and subscribe.
You need to visit us online also at Twitch. You know what our Twitch page is?
I imagine it's at TechTime Radio.
That's correct. If you just go to any twitch.tv and you look for TechTime Radio, we come on up as TechTime Radio. So visit us on Twitch, subscribe there because you can see the live feeds themselves. And guess what?
What?
We also have a page on X. Okay,
so and what is that? At TechTime Radio?
That's at TechTime Radio or hashtag
TechTime Radio. The point is,
yeah,
if you like our show, like and subscribe to our social media. Okay, so I think that's pretty much covers it. Like and subscribe to our social media.
Like us today. We need you to like us.
Nathan doesn't get liked a lot at home, so he's begging for everybody.
Please like us. Please like us. That's right. Okay. Thank you, guys. Remember, TechTimeRadio.com.
TechTimeRadio.com.
All right.
Like us and subscribe.
Or subscribe and like us.
Broadcasting across the nation, from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology, while enjoying a little whiskey on the side. With leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology news of the week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. Each week our show covers the weekly top technology subjects without a political agenda. We verify the facts and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes. And of course, with a little whiskey on the side. We are live streaming during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at TechTimeRadio.com and become a Patreon supporter by visiting patreon.com/TechTimeRadio. I'm Nathan Mumm, your host, a technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise, working for Fortune 500 companies across the country. Today in studio, we have our co-host, Mike Gorday. Mike's an award-winning author, originally from Arizona. Mike is a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology. Mike is here to keep me from geeking out while providing insight into human behavior and how it interacts with technology. And we got some CES stuff, so we've got a bunch of robots we're going to be talking about, your favorite today, right? And, of course, we have Odie behind the board, producing us and keeping us on track for today's show. We are friends from different backgrounds, but bring the best technology show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right, today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, we explore the new Disney-Apple partnership. Is there more than just the immersive Apple Vision Pro headset? Is there something brewing here? I think we're going to have a great article about that, and I think there is. We're also going to discuss why Apple is removing the blood oxygen app from its devices and whether it's a good move for consumers. Plus, we'll give you our CES 2024 review with the best and worst gadgets from the biggest tech show of the year. And finally, we'll look at the Huygens probe, the first and only spacecraft to land on Saturn's moon Titan. And we have, of course, a special Nathan Nugget. In addition, we have our standard features, including Mike's mesmerizing moment, our technology fail of the week, which comes to us from CES on the top 4 items that makes your head just go wow and makes you scratch it saying, what the heck are you developing? And a possible Nathan Nugget. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time Radio. As always, we'll have our pick of the day whiskey tasting during the commercials to see if our selected whiskey pick gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up by the end of the show. So sit back and raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Now, it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
You sure about that?
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
Yeah, someone's phone went off. I forgot to say the phone off, so it just had me all flustered.
Nobody needs to know about your Siri phone talking during the radio show.
Okay, all right. Story number 1. U.S. Customs and Border Protection have determined that the Apple's redesigned watch is now not subject to an import ban, according to the Monday court filings. Let's go to our own Tom Geiken with more on the story.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection has determined that Apple's redesigned Apple Watch is not subject to an import ban, according to a Monday court filing. The import ban, issued by the U.S. International Trade Commission, applies to Apple's current Series 9 and Ultra 2 watches and stems from a patent infringement dispute with the medical monitoring technology company Masimo. Masimo has accused Apple of hiring away its employees and stealing its pulse oximetry technology to use in Apple Watches. Apple has countersued, calling Masimo's legal actions a maneuver to clear a path for its own competing smartwatch. Back to you in the studio.
All right, so the ITC essentially barred Apple's import and sales of the watches for 1 day during the holidays, and then they got an injunction to allow them to sell their watches. Now, what's interesting about this is it's still Masimo as this medical company that essentially has the patent. They're not solving the problem with the existing watches. They're not making the hardware of these watches themselves. But what's interesting, though, is they're still kind of up in the air on if they actually remove this feature from your watch, Apple Watch Series 9 and the Apple Watch Ultra 2, essentially moving forward with a software patch. So let's talk about this. If I buy an Apple Watch, right, I buy it specifically for some of the features that they advertise, and then all of a sudden they get in a patent lawsuit and they have to remove functionality and features that they advertise. What happens next? Is that false advertising? Do you just import different technology to take care of it? Kind of a big deal that Apple hasn't just paid off, which I'm sure they could have done with some type of payment to Masimo for this technology, but they are still deciding to kind of play in this limbo space for the time being. So now you have a watch, right?
No.
You don't have
I don't use watches.
You don't use watches?
Nope.
Okay, so I use an Apple Watch.
Yes, I know. You
I like my
have
Apple
your
Watch.
Dick Tracy thing going on.
Yeah, I do. I really like it. And an avid TechTime listener responded to our last show when we talked about this. His name was Cliff London, and essentially he wrote us and said that he's okay with this happening if it doesn't affect the older models. But the primary reason that he owns an Apple Watch is because he's an aviation pilot, and he actually uses the pulse oximeter to actually take a look when he's flying, and use that instead of having to use other medical devices that he would have had to use previously. So he writes us and says, hey, all about them changing these new items, but they better not brick the watch for me, which means essentially lock that feature out on their current watches because of the lawsuit itself. Apple tried to rewrite software during the holidays. They got all their engineers together and they tried to fix this and rewrite software. They have a new way of using this hardware device in the phone itself, but it's undetermined still at this time if Apple continues to sell their watches, if they're going to have to create a software patch to stop using this actual hardware piece. If that does, I think not only myself, but many, many users that have bought these watches are going to look to Apple and say, what are you going to do for us? Now, is that fair or unfair?
I don't know. Do you think it's fair?
Well, so if I bought something for a feature.
I mean, here we've got a problem where allegedly Apple is stealing technology from somebody else and using it in their watches and then pawning it off on all these Apple devotees.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Regardless of whether or not it's useful or not.
Yeah.
And they're getting in trouble. And
they hired the employees from Masimo to come and work on the technology.
Well, they're getting in trouble for doing that. And if it results in, them having to block certain applications on their thing, is it fair? No, it's not fair.
This kind of reminds me of like purchasing movies. Have you purchased any digital movies?
Yeah.
So I purchased digital movies. Some of those digital movies,
Yeah, you can't use them
I can't
anymore
use them
because
anymore.
why is
But I
it-
paid
this is
for the
pro-
digital
this is
movie.
This is the big problem with technology, right?
You pay for something, you expect it to be there, and then all of a sudden they decide to drudge it up and decide to remove it.
Yeah,
A feature,
well,
whether that's a movie, whether that's items. Even if you pay for something, aren't you supposed to be able to? have
there's
that?
a term out there called buyer beware,
Yeah.
and that still applies to everything that we do.
I don't
Okay.
know if you're talking specifically about iTunes, but if we're throwing iTunes in, they say in their terms and conditions that you're basically leasing the movie
Yep.
or whatever the item is, the music, podcast, movie, whatever, which is so incredibly frustrating because you are paying for it.
Correct.
Well,
You would assume if I buy not the digital copy.
I buy a Blu-ray.
The
I
physical
buy a
copy?
disc.
you bring up
That's
a
with me till the,
good.
you know,
I mean,
whatever.
straight up iTunes. When before all this
Yeah.
other stuff happened, I had bought a whole lot of stuff on iTunes. I can't even access it unless I use their monthly fee.
Which is ridiculous.
Apple. What is it?
Yeah,
Apple,
their music play system.
Apple
they do.
Music. Yeah. So I can't access the things that I quote unquote own. Is it fair? No. But am I going to pay them? No.
So okay.
I'll go rebuy. I'll buy something else.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, let's. You know what? Hopefully Apple gets a little bit better in story.
I don't
number
know.
2.
Maybe Apple will mess around and everybody will figure out that they're not as awesome as everybody seems to think.
You know
they
what?
are.
They can produce something, and people are so devoted to
I
that
know.
company now that they just wait in lines all over everywhere.
It's ridiculous.
All right. Story number 2, buddy.
We're going to keep talking about Apple.
Oh, are we? What's up next?
Yeah, I don't know if I think it was last year we talked about a possible merger with Disney and Apple.
I did. I talked about it on an episode back in February of
It might have been-
2023.
Yep, it might have been then.
And essentially, I predicted, I said, this is kind of coming out of the blue, but I believe is specifically before Iger came back in charge of Disney. I said, I think Apple is looking to purchase Disney itself and actually take their intellectual property, their IP, all the items that they have to be able to be a part of their platform system.
We'll see,
Okay.
because an Apple-Disney partnership goes into effect on February the 2nd. So a partnership that's been more than 6 months in the making will officially go into effect on the 2nd of February this year per an announcement from Apple Inc. via press release. Since this back in November 2022, just days after Walt Disney Company's board of directors removed then CEO Bob Chapek, replacing him with veteran CEO Bob Iger.
Came on back, yep.
So that was in 2022. Maybe this was 2 years old.
Oh, maybe it was 2 years old.
Maybe.
Okay.
Media outlets began to overflow with news about the potential merger of the Walt Disney Company and Apple. Iger announced at that time a complete overhaul and restructuring at Disney, effective immediately before delving into the specifics of cost-cutting initiative, also effective immediately, that was aimed at trimming $5.5 billion in expenditures at the company. The plan included the layoffs of 7,000 employees, and according to upper management, no one knew who would be let go, and no one was safe. Weeks later, Disney's up tops were told to compile a list of their quote-unquote useless and replaceable employees. That's a harsh thing.
Useless
to hear
is a
from
hard
Disney.
word. That is.
In preparation for layoffs, then in 3 lashes of layoffs, one that was referred to as a bloodbath, Walt Disney Company purged itself of all their worthless employees once and for all.
Wow.
So a real Apple Disney partnership announced over the summer in June 2023. So I think we made a talk about this 2 years ago.
Okay.
Apple and Disney announced an upcoming partnership. It's the first time a representative from either company had spoken publicly about the proposition. But the announcement had nothing to do with an Apple buyout of Disney. Instead, Disney had something that Apple needed, which was the first virtual reality project called Apple Vision Pro.
Oh, yeah. Apple Vision Pro goes on sale next month. I had the Apple rep contact me personally from a local Apple store and told me that I could actually, because it's like $1,500 for this device. It's a VR headset.
Yeah.
And I could make payments on this because I absolutely needed it to replace my computer that I have because I don't need a computer any longer. I'll have the screen on this, and then we could update everybody at my company with this brand new technology, and it'd be better than buying them any new screens.
Yeah, did you go for it?
No, I said,
aren't you an Apple disciple?
Well, no, I'm not an Apple disciple, and I'm not paying $1,500 for a VR device when I can get one from Quest, Facebook, and everything at a $299.
Yeah, but that one doesn't act like a computer.
Well, okay.
Oh, well. Well, in a press release on Monday, Apple announced the rollout of its Apple Vision Pro headset, setting the availability date as February the 2nd.
Okay, yeah.
Huh. Coincidental.
Yeah.
Pre-orders will begin January 19th of this year. Vision Pro is a revolutionary spatial computer that transforms how people work. Okay, so these are all just
This is all
words.
their advertising stuff. And the Apple CEO, Tim Cook, what did he say about this bad boy?
Apple Vision Pro is the most advanced consumer electronic device ever created. Its revolutionary and magical user interface will redefine how we connect, create, and explore.
There's that
magical.
Magical. That's that Disney trademark name, too, right? That's what they do, magical.
Could it be that this Disney-Apple partnership is only the first leg of the journey towards a full acquisition of the Apple or the Walt Disney Company by Apple?
I think
After
so.
all, Apple owns the Vision Pro, and Disney's content will stream on an Apple-owned device thanks to the new partnership, not the other way around.
Yep.
I guess we'll wait for the answer to that question
On February
while
2nd.
fans and Wall Street analysts alike are watching on the side.
So I own Apple stock and I own Disney stock. So this is the real conundrum. Do you buy Apple stock because they're going to purchase Disney, which would increase and that would make sense, or do you buy Disney stock and Apple purchases it at a high price, which gives it a high price value? Or does your Disney stock merge in if they purchase them into an Apple type of? There's lots of.
Why are you asking me? I'm not a financial guy.
Those are the questions that I ask myself at night when I.
You should ask the Apple guy that called you about the headset.
He was a sales guy. I did say, hey, I'd be really interested to try one out for a couple of weeks. And he's like, yeah, you and everybody else I'm calling. I said, okay, well, clearly, how about you do a demo for all these people you're calling, and then maybe we'll see how great it is. I'm not going to buy something that I saw a video pre-cut up with inspirational music, everything that Apple does for their marketing churn and burn system, which is very successful. I would want to see it and test it first before I say yeah or nay. But I may end up liking it and say that it's the greatest thing.
Well, that's true because you get pretty hooked on things, and
I do, and I change my mind too. I may hate something for a while.
I think there's like a bajillion things from. That you're still waiting to get from Kickstarter.
I still haven't gotten my boxing VR thing.
Oh man,
that I paid for. That was like episode 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, that was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. All right, let's go on to story number 2.
That's story number 3, buddy.
Oh, story number 3. Chinese mourners use AI to digitally resurrect the dead. Let's go to Corrine Westland for more on the story.
Chinese mourners use AI to digitally resurrect the dead. Mr. Wu and his wife were devastated when Xuanmo, their only child, died of a sudden stroke in 2022 while attending Exeter University in Britain. The accounting and finance student, keen sportsman, and posthumous organ donor had such a rich and varied life, said Mr. Wu. Following a boom in deep learning technologies like ChatGPT in China, Mr. Wu began researching ways to resurrect him. He gathered photos, videos, and audio recordings of his son and spent thousands of dollars hiring AI firms to clone his son's face and voice. The results so far are rudimentary, but he has also set up a work team to create a database containing vast amounts of information on his son. Mr. Wu hopes to feed it into powerful algorithms to create an avatar capable of copying his son's thinking and speech patterns with extreme precision. And I am sure this is a story that will make the listeners go, hum.
Hum.
All right. Stricken by grief, Mr. Wu and his wife have joined a growing number of Chinese people turning to AI technology to create lifelike avatars of the departed loved ones that they miss. So let's talk about that. Essentially, he went through all of the data that he has, all the pictures that he has, all the information he has about his son, hires AI firms to recreate a likeness of him. So he goes all the time to his cemetery. He puts his AI phone out there, and he tries to have conversations with his son in this AI. It's not that great. So the video that is online of this. It's pretty sketch on hearing all of the dialogue that he has. Now, I don't know Chinese, so I don't know if that's a good translation or not, just to be honest, but it does sound very robotic in voice that they have there. I asked the question of, is this something that's going to catch on? Because they now have 30 companies that have opened up in China, specifically doing this as a grieving process for people that are paying enormous amount of money.
So psychologically speaking here, this is probably going to go crazy, but it doesn't mean it's healthy.
Okay.
Because the grieving process is about letting go. And if you have something that is a constant, continual reminder of your loss that you're interacting with and forming a pair relationship with, that is going to probably stunt the grieving process. So it's going to make it longer and longer. And so this might not be an unhealthy, this might not be a healthy avenue for grieving.
All right.
And
so
I'm not sure what they're posing here as part of the grieving process, but yeah.
So you don't have to grieve, because the idea, so
see,
these are called
that's
ghost
the problem.
spots,
You don't
ghost
have to
spots.
grieve. See, and this is a human thing. We don't want to experience pain.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have to, and part of growth in ourselves is understanding and dealing with that pain. If we have something that's sitting there, replacing that pain with something, we're not dealing with it.
So in the last year, 30 companies plus have started ghost spots in the United States.
Yeah.
These are avatars ranging for those who died to living parents and able to spend time with your children, or essentially a heartbroken woman's former boyfriend.
Yeah, see, this
really
doesn't sound like a really great idea.
Clients can even hold video calls with staff members from these companies, some of these companies, who essentially sit across a computer that have a face and voice digital overlay of the person that they're communicating to, so they can have a one-on-one conversation.
Yeah, well, this doesn't really sound all that healthy to me.
You don't think this is a good
I'm
idea?
sure it's going to be a hit, because that's the way things are. When we talk about the interaction of human behavior and technology, it is almost significantly negative.
Okay. Well, this must be breaking because nobody at CES had this. They got a lot of other stuff that we're going to be talking about, but nobody had these AI for the dead, or at least they weren't advertising AI for the dead. They were advertising AI for everything else. I just find this interesting, specifically like China. This is like hot topics.
Sure,
United States now, all of a sudden, in the last year, now that they got 30 plus companies that are coming up with this idea. So essentially, you never have to grieve. You just put the person into an Android, and then you can still have conversations with it the rest of your life. Wow. So what happens if you got like a whole family? Like if you get really addicted to this, and then your kid dies, and you have a kid, you have a wife,
there's a problem. It's a problem. This
is
a
the
problem.
video game. I mean, that's literally what you have, right?
Yeah.
All robotic people interacting with people.
This is a problem.
Okay. All right. Well,
it's going to be a problem.
I think
it's probably going to be a hit, and everybody's going to buy it, but it's going to be a problem. We're going to see a lot more people going to therapy.
All right. Well, there you go. Well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. We'll return after our commercial break with the review of CES 2024. You're listening to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. See you after this.
This is Marc
And Greg
for Copiers Northwest
with a terrific offer
called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner.
One of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service.
as long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
Or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Tech Time's a weekly hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you by myself and Mike Corday. We just had our first whiskey tasting here in the break, and now let me tell you about what we are sipping in our pick of the day. Today during the show, we have chosen the Yamasaki 12-year-old whiskey, 86 proof, $90 a bottle. From the Suntory's website, the Yamasaki whiskey is the flagship single malt whiskey from Japan's first and oldest malt distillery. With a range of options from the distillery's reserve to 12, 18, and 25 years old, all of these are prized whiskeys containing carefully blended components aged in American, Spanish, and Japanese oak. On the palate, you can find coconut, cranberry, butter, and a long finish with sweet ginger and cinnamon. If you're not listening on the radio, please do not forget to like and subscribe. In addition, feel free to add comments. That was from Marc, who is not in studio with us. He's given us the information here.
Okay.
Now, let me just tell you, I taste the cranberries. I taste a little bit of the ginger. I'm a big ginger and cinnamon guy. I like ginger. So I'm tasting some of those on the aftertaste that we go through.
Gilligan's Island ginger?
Well, no. Well, no. I actually like, we do like a little ginger sauce my wife makes for when we do chicken and stuff. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's ginger, onions, and some other type of stuff that she puts in it. So it's pretty good. All right, what are you thinking of this whiskey?
I like it so far.
You like it so far?
Yeah, I know Mark doesn't really like Japanese whiskeys.
He does not.
I tend to like them. I very much like rice wine and some, well, not so much beers, but whiskeys, yeah.
So the smash bill is 100% malted barley. Now, the price is $90 or $150 on the secondary market. So this is kind of have, I got this as a gift. My brother got this for my birthday. Mm-hmm. And so I told him we'd be sipping it on the show. And I'm kind of liking it. I'm not going to say that I'm going to give it a thumbs up, but if you notice, the cap was already opened before it got opened here on the show, so maybe my brother and I celebrated on my birthday a little bit.
You pre-taste everything, buddy.
I did.
I'm the only one here that doesn't taste anything until we do the show.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. That's. I'm sorry that's what you have to do.
Well, actually, she may.
Oh, that's right. Odie sometimes
when she helps us taste,
she does too.
But I'm the only one that waits until the show to actually taste it for the first time. Everybody else,
well, except for if it's a bad whiskey,
pre-taste it.
All right. With our first whiskey tasting completed, let's move on to our feature segment. Today we are going to review the CES 2024 show in Las Vegas that happened last week. Let's start our segment, Technology Insider.
Welcome to Technology Insider. We get the information directly from the source.
All right, so we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. So this is really a fun episode. We're going to be talking about CES, and then in my technology fails, we're going to be talking about the bad things at CES.
Are you sure?
Yeah, so we're going to have a good time here. Now, let's talk about CES is crazy, right? There's a lot of people.
I don't know, but every time we talk about CES, we always talk about toilets. So is there going to be
So I didn't bring
are there going to be smart toilets this year?
You know what? It did not make it on my top list, and it did not make it on the worst list.
Oh, so there were smart toilets.
There was some toilet stuff there.
We should always talk about smart toilets.
Yeah, smart toilets. So they have one that will help you wipe instead of spray stuff.
I know.
So we talked about that a little bit, but it's kind of a cool invention. Yeah, it is a Roto-Rooter. Well, speaking of unique things you may have in the bathroom, we got the Eureka Dual Washing Bot, okay? No one has ever said, I wish my washer, dryer, robot vacuum, and robot mop were all one device. But true. Once you've seen this mashup, you can never go back. And I want you to tell you that a huge part of my life and everybody's life is starting those Roombas. We have Roombas all around our house that clean our carpets, do anything.
That's one of the first things I replaced. Was my Roomba.
Your Roomba on the fire.
Jarvis too, buddy.
Okay, so and it does a great job. Now they have Roombas that now have mops that can go over and take care of different areas. What if you had all of that, and instead of it being separate, it also connected with your washer machine and dryer? And not only that, but instead of having a washer machine and dryer stacked on top of each other, the washer machine also ends up washing the clothes, waits, drains, and then it becomes the dryer itself. Well, if you've ever looked for this device, now you have it. Essentially, the AI dirt detection smart robot slides underneath the washer machine when it's all done, and it actually dumps the dirty water tanks into the same pipe as the washing machine with additional pushing from it so that it actually comes down. The water comes from the washing machine down, and it cleans out the robot in there so there's nothing that's left behind, no stickiness. It uses all that water when you wash your clothes to get rid of it.
So this thing doesn't go around your house picking up your dirty clothes?
It doesn't pick up your dirty
and
clothes.
Then washing them.
No.
So this is a little robot vacuum that just goes and dumps the water out of your
like a Roomba. So it's like a Roomba device. It's a Roomba device. It goes and it will clean your floors across it. But then instead of being its own separate device, it actually goes into the bottom tray of the washing machine / dryer unit. And then it stays there. And then when you actually wash your clothes, it will actually go through and empty out itself into the same line that you're getting rid of those items.
It dumps the stuff. It vacuums off your carpet into your dirty laundry water.
Yeah, it does, and that way it cleans the system out itself, so nothing gets sticky in there.
That's not good enough.
What's that?
That's not good enough.
Why is that?
It's a cool concept because when you said that, you said that, I wanted this like freaking little machine walking through my house and picking up laundry and putting it in itself and what?
No, that's Rosie on the Jetsons.
That's right.
That's not quite there yet. All right. Well, this essentially is only being licensed
I thought about
in
when
China.
You said this was Rosie.
Well, okay. This is only available in China due to licensing and an issue with a company that wants to sell it in North America, but they don't want to use the name Eureka's dual washing bot, so there's some problems with that name, so they're trying to take care of that. But look for that to come hopefully soon. That will take care of your washing, drying, robot vacuuming, and robot mopping. All right, the next thing we have is Abode Edge camera. Now, the Abode's new security system camera caught the attention of everybody at CES for one big reason. It's crazy Wi-Fi range. Now, essentially, this is an outside security camera that uses the Wi-Fi Halo system made by Morris Micro, giving it a mile of wireless range. So essentially, you get a camera. Most of your cameras you have at your house, if you have them on a wireless system, they have to be near a wall, and you're always shooting out at this. This one you can take literally a mile away, point it back at your property, and it will use your existing Wi-Fi with this technology on battery life and everything else that you would do for security processes. Think of having a security camera placed anywhere on your property that you like to, mounting it facing your home instead of away from your home to get a better view of your whole house. 6-month battery life that comes with this. Essentially, this will be available in the next few months for $199, but it also comes with a price of $4 a month to access the AI features and 10 days of footage. So you pay $200 for this device, and then you're going to have to pay $4 a month, and they're on their own private security system. But if you have, let's say you have a large piece of property, and I have an okay-sized piece of property, and so this would be really good. I could put it at the corners of my fences, and I could mount it up there. Hopefully no one steals it.
Do you really need to?
Well, so what it really does is it gives people a perspective back looking at your house for security versus the people walking into the security. What I would really like this for, and I probably may buy one of these units, is that I can set it up on my Wi-Fi. And so if you come to my house and you try to take it down with the microcells, it could be on other people's Wi-Fis in our neighborhood. And so I could really kind of make it, because we're friends with everybody in our neighborhood.
Yeah, like that Amazon.
Well, let's like
that,
Amazon sidewalk without having to be the Amazon sidewalk.
I got my new Dot.
There you go. So you got your new Amazon Dot.
Yeah, I had to replace my. I had to replace
about everything.
So,
yeah,
I had to opt out of the sidewalk deal.
Oh yeah, because that comes on by default.
I know.
But
it does for. To be fair,
I do like the Amazon.
It did have a thing that said, "Hey, this is automatically on Amazon sidewalk. Do you want to use it?"
Oh, did it say that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So to be fair, they did tell me about Amazon side. If they wanted me to use it, of course. They were like, "Hey, there's this great feature, Amazon Sidewalk. We want you to keep it on."
And you said no, but gotcha.
Absolutely not.
The next thing we have the Milo Action Communicator. Now, have you ever gone skiing or backpack with a group of people, and you always have one person that goes off into La La Land, or they're too slow to keep up with the group, or they just want to experience a different deal? I mean, this is a trouble anytime you go camping with a large group of persons.
That's why
there's one that's always wants to be unique, right? Now,
I'm that guy.
okay, you're that guy? You're the guy? Okay, well,
I never go with groups.
Okay, so this will be yours. So the Milo Action Communicator essentially is a modern voice communication platform used for small groups. You clip a palm-sized device to the outside of your jacket. It looks exactly like a Star Trek communicator.
Yeah,
it looks exactly like that. And essentially, you have the availability to chat freely without worrying about clicking the right button or finding the right frequency. Anybody in your group, when you go on off, can take care of it. Now, you can exercise this by saying Milo, which is hands-free, and then you say, Milo, talk to Sarah, or Milo, talk to so-and-so, and it'll essentially tell them if they're in range or if they're not in range. Now, this goes up to 5,000 feet away, so we're really doing a good job of using Wi-Fi and different...
Yeah, around here, it probably wouldn't be.
No, so this is actually developed by an individual here in the Seattle area that goes on up all the time mountain hiking, so with his group of people and skiing. Essentially...
See the guy getting lost all the time?
Yeah. It's the battery lasts all day on a single charge, and you can use either Bluetooth or a wired headset to listen and to chat in. So this is kind of like you now have a Star Trek communicator only for 5,000 feet away, so it's not quite spaceship to spaceship.
Like I said, I don't do this stuff, but going with your friends, hiking, doesn't that sort of mean you're hanging out with your friends?
Yeah, but there's always one. In a group of 5 or 6, there's always that one that wants to either be ahead of everybody or they're herding and they have to be behind everybody. And so you either all have to wait for that one or you just say, okay, best of luck, go, buddy. And the rest of us. What's that?
It's just Darwin them.
Yeah, that's right. All right.
See you back at the camp if you make it.
Well, that's right. If you can't hear the signal any longer, then that means that probably the person died. So then you can just continue on with life.
No, they're outside of the 5,000 foot range. They're a mile away.
But you can get an AI of them if they pass away, and then you can have them forever with you whenever you go on your next trip, right? Okay. All right. Continuing on. The next item.
They still wander off.
At CES. The Belkin Auto Tracking Stand Pro with Dock Kit. Now, this is... this MagSafe charger for the iPhone launches very soon, and it doubles as a 360-degree swirling tripod for your iPod camera.
You mean swiveling?
Or swiveling. There you go. Essentially, this works with Apple's Dock Kit program, and you put your phone in, and it uses actually the near-field technology to follow you around the room with the camera built in, both on the rear camera or the front-facing camera of any of the Apple devices. So think of it on a Microsoft Teams event or a Zoom event that you're on, and you just can't stand still.
I'm sure this is just going to be a TikTok thing.
What's that? Oh, this will be huge for it.
It's going to be a TikTok thing.
No, well, it's already on. People are talking about it on TikTok. But this is huge because now you can set it down and you can go and dance. You can go and do musical instruments, and it zooms in on you. It stays on you when you move back and forth. This will be probably one of the hottest items to come out of CES that everybody's going to get because nobody has 2 people when they're filming their TikTok stuff anymore. They only have themselves, and they don't want to have their hands up holding it when you need to do 2-hand events. So that will be available. Pre-order sales are already happening right now for the MagSafe charger. Go and take a look at those online now. Now, you know what? Nothing can be complete without a couple robots. And robots were a big trend again at CES 2024.
I'm sure they were.
All right, there's brand new robots. We don't have time to talk about them in this deal, but we will tell you a little bit about them. Now the robots have balls at their bases, so they'll get big, round, rosy. So now you're thinking of that rosy robot that moves back and forth. People are selling robots and pushing the robots specifically to help with hospital and nursing homes scenarios. So we may get one of these people to come on and talk more about how these robots work.
As long as it's not a social robot.
Flying cars are all the new rave. Every year CES now in the last 5 years has had some flying vehicle, but the new one's called eVTOL flying car. It essentially replaced the old company that went out of business, the Jetsons, that promised. I know I said I thought they
you were all over this one.
I thought they were going to take off.
Oh, yeah.
But they're a brand new supercar concept that you can be driving in this car with 2 people, and it automatically transforms like an Autobot and Transformer from the car vehicle into your flying vehicle with the press of a button.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Come on, that would be. Yeah. You're going down the highway, and all of a sudden you're stuck on I-5.
Yeah.
You hit the button, your helicopter comes off, and you zoom away. All right.
Yeah, you know what'll happen? There'll be a bunch of people in a knot doing it, and they'll all crash into each other. It'll be a mess.
Just think of the insurance for that. That's going to be crazy. All right. Well, that ends our 2024 review of CES. We have coming up next This Week in Technology. So now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side, as we will be doing so during the break. You're listening to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm. See you in a few minutes. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, so you know what? We need people to start liking our social media pages.
If you like our show, if you really like us, we could use your support on patreon.com.
Or is it Patreon? I think it's Patreon.
Okay, Patreon. If you really like us, you can.
And you say I'm the English guy?
Patreon.com.
I butcher the English language?
You know you butcher the English language.
Okay, so it's
all the time.
It's Patreon.com.
Patreon.com. If you really like our show, you can subscribe to patreon.com and help us out.
Oh, and you can visit us on that Facebook platform. You know, the one that Zuckerberg owns?
The one that we always bag on?
Yeah, you can. We're on Facebook, too.
Yeah, like us on Facebook.
Do you know what our Facebook page is?
TechTime Radio.
At TechTime Radio. Yeah. You know what? There's a trend here.
It seems to be that there's a trend, and that's TechTime Radio.
Or you can even Instagram with us.
And that's at TechTime Radio.
That's at TechTime Radio. Or you can find us on TikTok.
And it's TechTime Radio.
It's at TechTime Radio.
Like and subscribe to our social media.
Like us today. We need you to like us.
Like us and subscribe. That's it?
That's it. That's that simple.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, Mike, we're going to January 14th, 2005. The probe lands on Titan. The European Space Agency's Huygens probe lands on Saturn's moon Titan. This is the first landing ever accomplished in our outer solar system. The Huygens was designed to enter and break into the Titan's atmosphere and parachute a fully instrumented robotic laboratory to the surface. When the mission was planned, it was not yet certain whether the landing site would be a mountain range, a flat plain, an ocean, or something else. The Huygens touched down on land, and the probe was designed to gather data for a few hours in the atmosphere and a possible short time on the surface. It continued, though, to send data after it came through the atmosphere for a full 90 minutes after touchdown. That was This Week in Technology. Have you ever wanted to watch some Tech Time history with over 180 weekly broadcasts spanning 3+ years, video, podcasts, and blog information? You can visit us at techtimeradio.com or watch our older shows and join our Tech Timer Facebook group to talk with us live all the time. We're going to take a commercial break, but when we return, we have our Marc's Mumble Whiskey Review brought to us by Mr. Gourdet. See you after the break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. StoriCoffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at StoriCoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at StoriCoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for, Marc's Whiskey Mumble.
Yeah, here we are.
All right, what do we got today?
It's National Nothing Day.
What?
National Nothing Day.
Marc has National Nothing Day.
National Nothing Day. I guess out of all the days of the year, this is the day where you can do nothing and get away with it.
Oh, wow. So that means you're actually participating in the day. So
I guess.
Okay.
That is my kind of day. Every day.
This is Odie's favorite holiday.
We should have this every day.
January 16th.
Ever been caught doing nothing and shamed into feeling lazier than the average person? No. Rest assured that might not happen today, since the trappings and pomp of the holiday literally add up to nothing. Like its namesake, it's not a lot to tell. Mind teaser does occur, though. If you're doing nothing, aren't you doing something with nothing as the thing you're doing?
Oh, that is true. If you're doing nothing, then you're choosing to do nothing.
I used to say that to my ex-wife.
Really?
Just because I'm doing nothing doesn't mean I'm not doing something.
Okay, there you go. How did that turn out?
I'm divorced.
Okay. All right, well, continuing on.
The Yamasaki Distillery is Japan's first and oldest malt whiskey distillery, established in 1923 by Shinjiro Tori, who was later Suntory's founder. Thus, it is the birthplace of Japanese whiskey. Inspired by traditional Scottish whiskey, Torii envisioned a Japanese approach by choosing a terrain and climate completely different to those of Scotland to create a unique kind of whiskey. Since it is National Nothing Day, Marc will do nothing more. He does not drink a 100% malted barley whiskey, not his favorite flavor profile. So he will leave the rest to us to flesh out for him while he relaxes, having not even gone into the studio today.
So Marc's taking his nothing day literally seriously, right? He's just staying home and doing nothing.
Doing nothing, I guess.
I'll just tell you, I've been pretty impressed with this whiskey myself.
I like
You like malted barley?
I like Japanese whiskeys. This one is really good.
Okay.
Is he giving it a thumbs down, or he's not taking a thumbs down?
See, he doesn't even drink it. He said he would never buy it. And for like $90, he'd be like, oh, I'd never buy that. Okay. I can buy so many others that I'd much rather have in my palate. I guess when you become a whiskey snob, I guess you develop a palate into that type of deal. I'm still kind of a cheapo whiskey drinker, so I just like anything that's whiskey. That's right.
You're whatever you can get your hands on, you'll drink.
All right. Well, Marc, thanks for that mumble. You know, a pairing of whiskey and technology is just like the pairing of the movie Blade Runner.
Are you serious?
And Harrison Ford. That's perfect.
You are really stretching.
You can't do Blade Runner without Harrison Ford. I mean, Harrison Ford makes Blade Runner.
They did a Blade Runner without him. Well, no, he was in there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in there. All right, let's get ready for our technology fail of the week, brought to you by Elite Executive Services, technology experts to help you out of a technology fail.
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh, I failed, did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right, so these are the crazy items at CES. We got 4 of these that we're going to get through.
Okay.
All right, so number 4, we got the Philips 5000. It's not the 1000, but it's the Philips 5000 Wi-Fi Palm Recognition Smart Deadbolts.
Okay.
Okay.
You lost me. What does this do?
So the Philips 5000 series, so this is their very first one, but they named it 5000, is $360 you can purchase at Philips. Keys and door codes are so 2023. It's now 2024, and now you can unlock the doors by simply pointing the palm of your hand at your deadbolt lock. Of course, if you prefer to use a pin or key, you can still use that with the Philips 5000 series smart deadbolt, but it would be incredibly boring if you didn't decide to use your hand. If someone tries to break into your house with this lock, they'll literally have to take your arm to do it.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a palm. So it reads your palm. So I have one at home.
It's a palm reader.
So I have one at home that does your fingerprint.
Yeah,
and it
this
doesn't
is a
always
palm
work.
reader.
And then you just type in your code and you get in, they're very convenient to not have to have keys to get into your house. I love my devices that we have in there. But now you can pay a lot more money to have your palm read. Well, I don't know how
Well, does it tell you your future too?
It doesn't tell you
your lifeline, your heart line, and all that other stuff.
So literally people were shaking their heads saying, why do we need this device? Why is it the Philips 5000 instead of the 1000, 2000?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 fingers on your palm.
Oh, so is that where they came up with it?
Sure.
Good job marketing. All right. The next one is called the new, that's how you pronounce it, electric kids.
It's not GNU.
No, so it's not GNU. It's actually pronounced GNU. But
you know, when we were kids and we learned about GNU, that's what we used to do.
Mr. GNU's?
GNU.
You got the GNU's? Okay, so this is called new electronic kids suitcase. It's spelled GNU. There's a lot of rideable luggage, but now we have something new and cute as the GNU. This motorized 3-wheeler is steered by moving its horns back and forth. It looks like an elf.
It's a bull.
Like a bull. The front wheels light up with a Bluetooth speaker in the front so you can play music. The GNU seat pops open to reveal a small storage area. The GNU speed maxes out at 5 miles per hour so your little ones can't move away from you too fast. Essentially, this will become available in May for everyone that's a young kid at heart that wants to travel for $199.
Have you seen these in the?
Yes.
What's the malls? What's the very first thing that comes into your mind when you see this?
I want to run into somebody.
I'm going to kick that over.
Oh, yeah, I want to run into somebody. So now you can have kids at airports getting on these devices when they travel back and forth, so they can now go at 5 miles an hour down the thing. Oh, poor kids.
Terrible. No, that's terrible.
Well,
we don't need your children running around freaking in the airport.
Okay, so the next one here, we have the Innovex Minolta's Smart Pet Collar. It tracks your pet's vitals. Now, I love smartwatches taking our health scores. And so now essentially this product that comes from Japan brings the same type of tracking to our beloved furry friends. This product is winning all kinds of awards at CES 2023, but it's a little bit odd. Now, I've owned pets. I've owned cats, and we're going to be talking about that because number one comes up to this cat thing. But I've owned cats, and we have a pretty large area of acreage. I do not know any time when I really wanted to track the health of my cats in a device that puts around them so I know how my vitals of my pets are doing. Now,
we're on the West Coast. People treat their pets better than they treat other humans.
Yeah. Okay. So I understand maybe a dog a little bit about this, but I think if I want to track my own vitals, I can get it type of deal. What good? You're not a veterinarian, so you don't know what's going on. How are you going to decipher whether the heart rate is good or bad?
I don't know. Maybe
buy a $1,500 vet bill to go on down and say, "Can you tell? Here's my chart for my pet. His vitals have been down here." And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, he probably needs to go out more." I all about having nice pets, but I don't think I would ever have my pet's vitals that I would have around their neck so I can know what's going on. But
okay, you just shouldn't live up here.
All right, here we go. Number one. It's called the Flappy AI Powered Cat Flap. So the smart pet tech. So just everything right now.
Why do we need to have an AI for a cat door?
Well, hang on to this. So essentially, this new gadget that caught everybody's attention is a smart cat door that uses motion sensors and AI vision technology to spot when your favorite feline, this is for cats, tries to bring in small animals into your house. And as a cat owner, I'll tell you, you know what? I have had a cat
bringing you gifts
for 30 years. I've had them come on in once, maybe twice. This is not something that I need to worry about. Where my cat is bringing in, most of the time they bring it to the door, they leave it at the door, they play with it. That we have voles that they catch, moles that they catch, birds that my cats catch because we live a little bit out in the sticks type of deal. But I have never needed to have the Flappy, which essentially looks to see if my pet has prey in its mouth. And if it does, then it will not open the door itself. Now, this only works 90% of the time. So the one time that it's not going to work because he's having it hidden there, he's going to come on in. It'll still be the same amount of times when I don't have this Flappy AI device. So it's going to be the same amount of chances of them bringing me in. Now,
well, if you have your vital thing, can't you tell if it's like getting prey? I don't know.
Well, you can have both. Dumb. It will not allow them until they drop their prey outside to let them into the event itself. So there you go. Those were the technology fails.
I think you should get the Flappy and the vitals and
so you take care of your pets forever. All right. Well, we're now going to go into Mike's mesmerizing moment, brought to us by StoriCoffee.
This is Mike's mesmerizing moment, presented by StoriCoffee. Visit StoriCoffee.com.
All right, Mike, if you could live in a VR world forever, we've been talking about this, would you choose that over the real world? So you could put yourself into like the Matrix, live there forever.
So you're talking about if I could take my consciousness and stick it into a VR world, right? And then my organic body would be dead and gone.
But you'd still be always moving
so
around.
I wouldn't have to do like some of these sci-fi things and have like a hookup where I'm sitting here starving to death.
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
What would you choose?
I would probably not choose that.
So you had all these qualifiers.
Dude,
you still aren't going to do
it. This is one of those human things. This is very attractive.
Okay.
This is very attractive. Okay.
All right.
So this is something that no matter and it's kind of interesting that we're always doing this, is that we are seeking immortality in many different realms in this, genetics, medicine, things like that. I don't know why we want to live forever.
Okay.
But this would be a viable way to live forever, and it would be a very attractive thing for a lot of people.
Okay. But not you.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well,
ultimately that's part of the human experience, right?
It is kind of like going through
human experience is not just birth and life, it's also dealing with death. So.
All right, well, we don't have time. Odie's saying that we ran out of time, so I don't have time to go to my Nathan Nugget. And we're going to talk about Windows 11 users and what they can look forward to in 2024. So we'll have that come back next week. Hopefully we get to that. There's a bunch of AI stuff in there that will make you really excited. But now let's move on to our pick of the day.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right, we got the Yamasaki 12-year-old whiskey, 86 proof, $90. Are we going to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, Mr. Gourdet?
I'm a thumbs up.
And why?
It's a really good taste. It's a smooth taste. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give it a thumbs up too. I like that ginger taste.
I would have it on my bar.
You would have it on the Mike Gourdet bar?
That's right.
All right. Okay. Well, we're just about out of time. We want to thank our listeners for joining the program. Listeners, we want to hear from you. Visit us at techtimeradio.com and click on Be a Caller and ask us a question on technology and the TalkBack recording system. You can ask us just about anything. And if you ask something crazy, then I'll ask Mike that during his mesmerizing moment. From all of us at TechTime, it was an honor to be the host of today's show. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you give us a 5-star review. And remember, the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.